Hi and welcome to Add More Zest, and my name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and it's time for a WIP and chat, a WIP and a waffle. I'm going to be working on my Heaven and Earth design, the smaller one of the two, even though it's still 46 by 82. This one's called Mini Beautiful Light by Adele Sesler. It does only have 15 colours, a lot of them being the likes of the 310s and the greys, which is also partly why I got this one, because I'm using my spares. So I have pots here with all the colours so far. I've not run out or got close to running out of any yet, so I'm going to keep plodding on, and if it does come to the point where I need to pick any more up, I've always got that option. But I'm sort of working across this top little strip at the moment. I've had 2 sections done and I've got 1 more to go. But before I do get into the WIP chat, I got sent this gorgeous item from Debbie. She says she lives in Devon and they had a folk week. She saw this on the stall and thought of me. But yeah, she started diamond painting in the first lockdown when she'd ran out of puzzles and found me on YouTube. So yeah, lockdown has, helped a lot of us diamond painters either have more time, potentially. I wish I'd had more time, but it has also helped boost the craft, I've found, which is amazing. So this is going to go up in my craft room. I'm going to find a spot for it later, but thank you so much for that, Debbie. Oh, it's exciting. Right, let me open up my tablet. This is where I try and remember. I always forget how to open this up to get my apps up. There we go. It tests me. So I have 2 charts in here for my 2 Heaven and Earth designs. And then I need to do, no, not the search one, the move one. Get myself my next block of 6 so that I'm ready. We do have a big span here of 1, which is going to be good to help this diamond painting move along. So let's see if I can get this in a position now where I can zoom in and try and make it so that you can see. I don't know how far I can actually get this to go across. It won't go across much further because of my desk. So let's see if I can get that to go that way. One way, so I can zoom in a little bit more. I don't know how much you're going to be able to see that. I'm not at the best positioning for this at the moment. Let me get that to shove across. Okay, let's go for the 310 first because it is the blockiest symbol on my chart. Now I'm going to have to zoom out a bit so that you can still see the bulk of it without having to shrink it too close to myself that I actually can't get in either. Just try and get some of the bulk, or the dark sections is always a nice one to do. And then I might do the big bulk in the middle, and then I can fill in the gaps with it all. Oh, actually, I think if I remember rightly, when I worked on this one last time, it was easier to do the dark colours first, because the way this works, the way the app works, is when you tell it you've done a certain part of a colour and you tick, it will fill in that colour with the colour of the diamond that it is. So for example, if I just complete that row and hit the tick to be done, it turns them black, which is the colour. However, this colour here is actually white, and if I select those, it will then turn them white. and it's harder to see what you've done and what you've not done. So what I might do is try and do some of the darker colours first before I move on to the light colours. Maybe I should work out what is the darker colours and change my storage and go by my storage, because there's only 15 colours in this one. So it's not like my other one where I could get completely lost as to where the symbols are. So I think darker to lighter colours might be better on this one. But let's do the black and see where we're at. But I hope everybody is well and having a good week. Hubby and I did get away for a couple of days. We went to Edinburgh. We didn't realise that the Fringe was on at the time. Not that we're complaining. We did get in a comedy show, as well as walking around a few different places in Edinburgh. Walked up to the castle, though it was fully booked for actually going into the castle until we'd already been leaving. But we did do the walk up to the castle and walk down the Royal Mile. We did the whiskey tour. That was actually really good. The way they put on that whiskey tour was very interesting and very well done. Oh, I've just marked off the two that I've not yet done yet. So let's mark those off. Let's put them in there. Let's not get myself any more confused than I'm going to anyway. But yeah, it was a good couple of days. I think a couple of days was enough for us, or at least it was enough for me, especially with, you know, not really going out much at all in the last 18 months. So I think just going away for a couple of days sort of broke that up, but it didn't become too much. The weather was actually really nice. When we booked it, we did of course we did decide to have a look at the weather forecast in the hope that we would, I've just put a new glue dots in this pen. We did have a look at the weather forecast, though it's the UK, so it can change at the blink of an eye. It can change, but it turned out well. We're due and having a nice week worth of weather this week. We did have some Scottish drizzle in the morning, but that was to be expected. And yeah, it ended up brightening up, which was great for walking around. The last thing we wanted to do was be walking around in a load of rain. We also treated ourselves while in Edinburgh, just before we came home, to a Lego set each, because, you know, treat yourself on holiday the same way you don't otherwise. So we carried it home on the train rather than deciding to get it delivered to our home, which we could have done, but it's not the same, is it? Anybody knows it's not the same as buying yourself a little treat to then just get it delivered. Oh, excuse me, sorry, that was my chair. It's a folding chair, and obviously I hadn't clipped it down enough when I sat on it. Yeah, so we decided to go by train, so that the journey would be, you know, part of the holiday, a little bit different. Hubby doesn't mind driving, but I'm not the best passenger, and going for that longer drive, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. Whereas the train I found a lot more relaxing, especially when it was just a couple of days break and it wasn't a matter of going out further. If we'd gone for a week or so, then I could imagine that going by car would have given us more scope to see more areas of Scotland. But yeah, so we went there at the beginning of the week. I've been pinged by the NHS app twice since coming back. Well, actually yesterday I got pinged 3 times and then I got pinged this morning, but I'm not sure if they're all the same contact, because they all say the same date, which was one of the days we were in Scotland. But hubby and I both got tested because I got pinged. And both of ours have come back negative. So I'm guessing we weren't in that closer contact with whoever has unfortunately now got it. So yeah, a bit more excitement to, well, I wouldn't say excitement, a bit more drama to add to the trip away. But it's all good. Ooh. And now, once I've finished this WIP and Chat for today, I will then be painting my daughter's room. So my youngest daughter wants her room redoing. And as soon as this WIP and Chat is done, I'm off to start painting. The only thing is the ceiling needs doing this time. We avoided it last time thinking it didn't really need doing, but it does. So short straw, start with the ceiling and then work to the walls. But it'll be good once it's finished. It's bank holiday weekend here in the UK, so that's supposed to be a decorating weekend, isn't it? I think that's what they say. There should be a lot of people decorate on a weekend, on a bank holiday weekend, before I'm then back in work on the Tuesday. Okay, so that is that one done. So let's have a look. What have we got? Let's do the darker symbols first, because the darker symbols tend to be the darker diamonds. So I'm going to go by darkest, and then I'll just do that big block in the middle at the end. I was tempted to do it earlier because in a way it is easier to get the big blocks of colour out of the way first when working on a heaven and earth design. But because this is black and white, it's harder to follow the chart when I've done a load of white. It's actually a lot easier to follow the chart by doing the dark parts first. So we'll just have that as chit chat time at the end. I do have a few sort of comments and questions and things that I've got pulled up to go through. So I'll just get this colour done. Ooh. I didn't tip as many out for this one because I don't need as many. Trying to limit the amount of tipping in and tipping out that I need to do. Ooh. I say I do have new glue dots in this pen today. Okay. What do we have? Oh, so in relation, there's been a lot of discussion in the last couple of WIP and Chats in regards to what diamond paintings I do throughout the WIP and Chats. So Freya has said, oh, let me see if I can move this over here now. Oh, that's easier. I've moved it to the left of me. It's easier for me to see. She said, could you do a round WIP and Chat of your small ones for variety, so we don't see the same one each couple of weeks? Yes. So I think what I'm going to do, as sort of discussed in the last one, we discussed it quite a lot in the last WIP and Chat, but I think what I'm going to do is, for now, I'm going to keep it as Minions, Mr. Quackers and the 2 Heaven and Earth designs, only while I'm working on another comparison one of the Mindfulness Fox, and I also need to finish off the custom comparison. So that shouldn't take too long. Like, I mean, that probably only will be, what, maybe 1 cycle of the paintings, maybe 1.5 cycles. It won't be too much. It won't be enough for people to get bored, I don't think, of the cycles that the paintings go in. But I think if that was all I ever did, I think the cycle could potentially get a little bit, you know, more repetitive. So I'm going to do those for now, but then once I have finished these comparison ones that I want to get done, and I'm back onto just doing normal paintings, because I don't have any plans for another comparison. Doesn't mean things can't change, but at the moment there's no plans for them. Then I will start doing one of the larger ones in my own time as one of my own paintings to do, and I will mix in that with others. So the Heaven and Earth design will stay as a standard to be pretty much always done on a WIP and Chat between the 2 of them, but then the other paintings will vary so that we have some variety for everybody. Is that them all done? It is. So there's a lot of greys in this. There is a sort of beigey colour as well, and some creams, and there is a green, but I'm just going for the darker colours at the moment. They're not all extremely dark, but they're definitely darker, so that I can see where I'm going. And they're quite nestled together as well, the darker colours, because they're bringing in the shading. The cat lady said she has a cross-stitch project has been put on the back burner because the charts she uses are far too big for Pattern Keeper, she said. And she just says, just set up a rota for the ones that I'm doing, for the WIP and Chats that I'm doing. Yeah, I think I am. I think it's going to be Heaven and Earth design every other week. So each of these will appear once a month, which I think is a nice bit of variety. It's not going to get them done super quick, but I'm happy with the Heaven and Earth designs taking a bit longer than the rest. They're not something that needs to be super quick, in my opinion anyway. Okay, that's the next darkest colour. Let's go for that one. Only need a few. What else have we got? Oh, Samantha says she loves her tray, and it's the only one she'll use. That's amazing. Thank you. It is the only one I use now. I can't. Yeah, apart from when I do a special diamond painting, you know, where it has diamonds that are a lot bigger, that like sort of won't fit through the funnel on this tray. That's the only time I use one of the little white trays out of the kit, is for the big diamonds, just to sit them in one place really. There's no other real reason that I use them. This is the beigey colour, of which you can see I have a couple of different tones of this. but that doesn't bother me. They'll get used to different aspects of the painting, no doubt. But I'm just going to use the one shade of it for now, and then there'll be another section of the painting that I'll use the other shade. She says she has everything for a Heaven and Earth Design mini Dreamer's Tree, because there is a smaller one than the max one that I'm doing. She has everything for that. She just needs to build up her spares. Yeah, and my original plan with the Heaven and Earth Design mini Dreamer's Tree was just to start and to leave gaps when I didn't have the diamond colour and go back in and fill them in. But I will agree that that was quite tricky, especially when it came to filling them in, and I got some of them. I think it is such a big project that you don't have to have all the diamonds to start off with. But I do think it's easier if you at least have some and are able to do, you know, the bits that you need to do, and then add in the rest. So very similar to this. I don't think I have all the diamonds I'd need to do the whole thing from top to bottom, but I do have enough to be able to be making a start, and then I will reevaluate if it gets to the point where I run out of a colour or get low on a colour. I'll then reevaluate and be like, okay, do I need enough of these to order some? Or, you know, have I got any paintings that if I actually put that one in the front of my queue, I would get the colour I need sooner, so that I can continue on with it and do it that way. She has 2 diamond art canvases to do, but she wasn't aware that you couldn't use a normal pen for ABs, should she just use tweezers for those. So in relation to using a pen for the ABs, you can use a pen for the ABs. It's not a no. The reason I use something different, there's a couple of reasons. The coating on the AB diamonds can either come off quite dramatically if you use something that is too sticky. So the likes of a glue dot, I'm currently using, you know, a fresh new glue dot that's only just been put in. There is a risk that I could pull the AB coating off a diamond because the glue dot is currently so sticky. People do use a pen with a glue dot in to place ABs. So, you know, one that you've had on the go for a little bit longer might be better to do it with. But they also can just lose a little bit of the sticky. So when I was just using wax, for example, I would find that I would have to refill my wax after doing a load of ABs, because the residue had then coated the wax, which stopped it picking up other diamonds. And that's the reason that I go to the likes of a mini placer. I'm just trying to have a look at what, if any, particular diamond is best doing next. I don't think it really matters now. So let's go up to the top and let's do the ones that aren't the light whites. That's far too many diamonds. So yeah, I've just got in the habit of always placing ABs now with my pretty placer, because it picks up ABs fine. It doesn't tend to suffer from the pulling off of the coating in any particular way, and it keeps my pen clean for when I then go on to, you know, the next normal diamond. But you certainly don't have to. For many years I've placed ABs with a normal placer when using wax. I just then had to refill my wax afterwards. So I still tended to do them in a bulk, so like I'd either do it as the last colour that I did, or depending on the diamond painting I might do it as the first colour that I did, and then I'd refill up my wax and then carry on with the rest. So it's definitely not a have to. Okay, so I've done all of those, so that's next. Cheryl, she says, that was a beautiful square today, the minions, all done and dusted. She agrees with the rotation. She says, thanks for including us in the process. She loves all the videos, unboxings, kitting ups, breaking downs. It's entertaining. Oh, thank you. I am glad. Meiko, she agrees as well with Cheryl. She says, I hope I have a relaxing holiday. I wouldn't say it was relaxing. There was a lot of walking involved in that holiday, but it was good. It was good to get back out in the real world, should I say, for a bit, especially after pretty much staying at home for the last 18 months. It was definitely good to get out and about. Emmy says you were really excited for Mr. Quackers, so maybe take that one out the rotation. Yes, Mr. Quackers does still make me smile. I think what I'll do, I'll one or the other, either Minions or Mr. Quackers, or maybe both in turn. I will sort of not so much take out of the rotation, but definitely work on them in my own time. Therefore, you'll still be able to see some of the, you know, the dramatic progression, and they will then come out of the rotation because they'll be finished, and then we'll be able to bring in more variety. I'll see how it goes. Denise says she finds Minions more interesting. She does like the others, but there's not as much colour. So maybe do, you know, more of the WIP and Chat when you get to the colourful parts. Yeah, that's a fair point as well. Especially with the likes of Mr. Quackers that has a lot of white. Maybe it would be better for me to, you know, do some more of that off camera, but then maybe when it does get to a nice, interesting, bright, colourful part of it, bring it back in to the rotation so that you guys can still see what's going on. But you get the fun part, and I get the fun part too, because, you know, I'm the one doing it, whether it's on camera or off camera. It's still fun. Okay, I did those two. Ooh, got a lot of 762. Get those out. Oh, so Robin, this is another discussion that I was like, when I saw the comment, I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun discussion. Well, fun. There's going to be a bit to it. Have you seen how many colours of 762 I've got? I got so many shades. I'm going to use them all. So Robin says, if you're going to do a Christmas one where we do a square a day, how about picking a painting from a budget site rather than a high price place and make it 40 by 50 or similar, but definitely a budget place so we can all afford the same picture. So in relation to Christmas, I am still going to be doing a Christmas painting. I'm still going to be doing a December Advent because I know that it's well liked. It will only be a 30 by 40, and the main reason for that is time. Because I do the WIP and Chat every single day and you're seeing every single diamond being placed, there is only a certain amount of time I can allocate for filming all of those WIP and Waffle videos. and a 40 by 50 would take a lot of time. It would take a lot of time away from daily life, and Christmas time is busy for everybody, and I do want everybody, you know, to hopefully have a fighting chance. There are days when it can get too hard for you to set some time aside for your diamond painting, but I do want everybody to have a fighting chance to be able to do a diamond painting, a little bit of a diamond painting each day. Now, I don't think the one that I did last year, that I did put up a link for everybody to be able to join in, was too expensive. But there is always the trouble of, you know, it might not be, it's your level of expense, you know, what do you class as expensive? But it can also sometimes be shipping and availability for people. So I do recognise that the one I did last year that ended up being a Halloween picture, but regardless, the one I did last year was probably cheaper for some Americans to pick up than it was for UK, just because the site was American. And I appreciate that, but nobody has to do the same picture as me for the December Advent. That is not a rule, a requirement, or anything. It is purely choice, and it is purely your choice as to which painting that you do. You know, there are some people that even do a smaller painting, so you know that they can have less time doing it each day, but more a chance to actually finish it. That's often an option available for some people, and I've just spotted that there's a square there that I haven't put a diamond in, so I'll go back to that in a minute and find out which one that is. Let me get the rest of these in first. But this year, for December, we have partnered with a company to be able to offer through our shop. Oh, not that one. To be able to offer through our shop a diamond painting for December. So we'll announce that as soon as it's all in-house and ready and can be done. So which square was it that was missing? It was that one. What's that one? It's a 762 I missed. You stick me potting. We think it's a fair priced diamond painting. I wouldn't class it as a budget diamond painting, but I do think it's a fair priced diamond painting. But it is not a requirement at all. And we tend to change it up each time. So say there's a June one that we did that I think somebody did have the same painting, but it wasn't that I announced it early enough, you know, to say if you want the same painting, come and get it. Oh, see, this is what happens when I change what my pattern is on. I changed my pattern to search for that missing one, and of course it meant that I mucked up and it kept trying to search for ones. Yeah, in no way does anybody have to do the same painting as me. It is purely, you know, the idea is just to do some diamond painting. So if for any reason you can't afford it, because shipping of course will be dearer abroad, because it's being supplied from the UK, it may not be reachable for everybody, but we're trying to trying to vary it up and trying to hit as many, you know, people and options as possible. But yeah, we're excited for it. We are very, very excited. Cannot wait for the day that they arrive. And it will be an exclusive design. It's not Christmas themed though, even though we're doing it for the December Advent. It's not a Christmas theme painting. But yeah, that is sort of the big news that is coming. There's probably going to be more coming out about it in September/October. We're hoping to launch it in October for everybody, to have time for it to ship to various parts of the world, depending on, you know, people that may want it. But yeah, I hope you like it as much as I do. Anyway, enough talk of Christmas. We're in August. I wouldn't mind, I've been setting this up since June. So I definitely started talking about December Advent a lot earlier than I normally do. But heck, I've got proper cream and off-white colours in this. But I still think the picture's going to turn out, so I'm going with it. If anything goes wrong, I can always pull them off. But I'm still seeing an image. Susan says, I think you should work on whatever you want to work on and we'll watch regardless. She says there is 4 large paintings. If you only work on them in WIP and Waffles, it'll be well over a year before you get any of them finished. Yeah, and I think that's the reason that I am going to vary it up later, and after a couple of months we'll start mixing in some others. So if I click on this now, we are all 5200. So let's do some block work. Fee says she can totally relate how you feel doing massive amounts of blocks of colour. She says she's currently doing a sunbathing kitty by Diamond Art Club, but which is not big, but the background have 2 colours, which is mainly one colour. And she's been working on it for hours. And it's nice to see the change of colour. Now she's working on the body. Oh, somebody said thank you for showing your percentage on my Heaven and Earth designs. Yes, I'm definitely further ahead on the percentage of the big one than I am of this smaller one. But of course the smaller one will eventually overtake, and I'll eventually have more of this one done, just because it's a smaller image. Though it's just as wide, isn't it? How wide was it? The other one, the big one's 40 wide, this one's 46 wide. So it's just a little bit wider, but I haven't yet finished, of course, the first top row, because I've only done this on, this is now the 3rd WIP and Waffle in which I've done this one. I did work on my big one a little bit off camera, but not for too long. There wasn't too much of it that was done off camera. Most of it has been done on camera. Linda says when she listens to the WIP and Waffle, quite often she's not looking. She's just working on her own and does it for company. So she doesn't mind which one I'm working on. Do whichever one I like. Well, that's good as well. I know there are quite a few people that do their own project on the go. And practicality wise, the Heaven and Earth design is easier for me to do. So I think that's going to be my slow burner. And I think I'll make the others just a little bit faster. Irene says she has the mini Soul of the Rose Heaven and Earth designs, but she's still collecting the diamonds to get started. That's good. I like the fact that there are more people sort of venturing into the heaven and earth design, and I do recommend considering it as a long project. Don't think of it as something that you have to do. If you're enjoying it and you enjoy that way of diamond painting, then by all means make that your only diamond painting. But it does take a different level of headspace because the symbols aren't on the canvas, they're on your chart. So because of that, I do recommend that sometimes you just want the easier option with the symbols on the chart, and sometimes that is just what you need. You need to break off from, you know, the thinking and the pulling together of each and every, you know, the counting and the pulling of each of the colour and getting them all lined up. Sometimes you do just need to not do that. So all of these have now been done. Tick done. And let's move on to this big part in the middle. I am still sort of doing it in blocks of 10-ish. I might see if I can mark off the whole block of 10 in one. I think you can. Select all unfinished highlighted stitches in the square. So I can select the whole square to then mark it as done, and I can still add on as well. So that's good, because when I come to this bottom bit, I am going to do these 3 in this bottom square as well. So if I actually clear that, press and hold, so I've done that one, and then if I do the same on here, no, okay, doesn't like doing it on that one, don't know why, but I've done those. That'll be a bit easier for marking it off in a little bit. So Irene does say she's given a lot of helpful tips while working on my Heaven and Earth design project, so that's good. Hopefully it will make the process a lot easier and nicer for you. When I did start my first big one, I was working straight off the chart and the paper chart at that, so I actually printed the PDF out and I was working on that. It wasn't the easiest, definitely not, but it was doable. I then worked on a PDF app, just a standard PDF app, so you could, you know, I think you could highlight where you'd done, but it was still all looked like symbols. So it was still all symbol orientated. And it was okay, but then it did an update and it just became a proper pain to use. And since then, since I found Pattern Keeper, it is a complete game changer. It makes doing a Heaven and Earth design project so much easier, so much nicer, and a lot more manageable. A lot more manageable. And it's really nice to see the design come to life both in the app, because it puts the colour in for you, and on your canvas. It really makes a huge difference. Natalia says she also does the black first with Hannah Lynn paintings. So they're Diamond Art Club paintings. She also does the black sections first. Yeah, I find it so much nicer to be able to do the black section that sort of just sections your diamond painting up a little bit more, but not necessarily in straight lines. And I find it makes it really, really nice to work on. So yeah, I agree. That is the way forward, is the way to work. Yeah, Lisa, she also likes to see the 4 paintings worked on, but she doesn't mind if they're worked off camera so that she can see them get done quicker. So I think we're going to be ticking most people's boxes. Celine says to put a large colourful painting in the mix to bring in some colour, which I do appreciate, apart from probably Minions and maybe Mr. Quackers when I'm actually working on Mr. Quackers himself. We do need some colour in the WIP Chats. The Little Dreamer's Tree, the other Heaven and Earth design that I'm doing, is very, very muted colours. And of course this one is very much black, white and grey. Oh, look. How quick was that to tick them all off? Me likes it. Yeah, so I think I will pay attention to that and try and pick more colourful paintings for the others. I'm also going to try and make sure there's still some form of round painting, because both Heaven and Earth designs are of course square. She did say, I do wonder what hubby thought of you kitting up a diamond painting at the couch, because it will have been a while since he's seen you kit up a painting, or done it, because I always just do it on camera. Yeah, he does watch some of my videos, so he does see me doing them, but he was a bit like, what is it you're doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm kitting up because I'm not up for filming it, but I also am not up for working out of bags anymore. But yeah, there is another kitting up coming up. I do need to kit up the custom, the other custom from Manhui Rachel. I do need to kit up that painting, so there is still a kitting up coming up, hopefully this next week, which will give you guys a kitting up fix. Jamie does say it's Mr. Quackers is good to do on camera because he's a square, and some people have a problem with square, so they can see it close up. Yeah, I think I need to make sure that I've got the 2 Heaven and Earth designs, a round and a square. And I might just try and make sure that the other paintings that I work on are as colourful as they can be. Bring some colour in our lives. Elizabeth says, my hubby has gone and got me a long pipe. She called it legging, and said that's what I'd called it. So this is what we use for, or I use for rolling up large paintings. I call it pipe lagging. She said she got it at Lowe's. It's called pipe insulation in the US. Yes, I do apologise for that. Lagging, I think, is a UK term or a British term. It could even only be a northern or a southern term. Who knows? I pick up terms and phrases from all over the country. But yeah, pipe insulation is what it really is. That's its full name. Pipe lagging is what we call it in the UK, and I just didn't think. I've always called it that, so I really didn't think about the fact that it could have another name that would make it a bit easier for anybody else. So I do apologise if anybody has struggled or had the weird looks in the shops when you ask for pipe lagging. I do apologise. Shelley says, will there be a sneak peek of the new tray, colour or colours, coming next month? Or any ideas of the dates? Yes, there will be a video showing the new tray for September. There is one new colour for September. We will do a video, or I will do a video showing that and the couple of other items that we will be bringing out, new items that we'll be bringing out in September. And the items, once I've sort of released a video showing them for the month, we'll probably be able to tell you, you know, when they're going to be launched as well. And we will do the email notification sign up for the tray, just the same as we've done on previous trays. It's a little bit of a different colour this time. I think it's either a love it or a hate it type colour. Love it or don't like it colour. I think that's probably the better way of saying it. It's a little bit brighter. We've gone mainly pastel recently. So this one is a bit more of a bright colour. We like it. I like it anyway. But yeah, we will do an announcement, and of course we'll put it on the Facebook page as well, and I'll do a video so that you guys can see stuff up front. Oh, Donna also asks, you mentioned individuals have bought you a cup of coffee. What does that mean? I did get asked quite a lot, you know, for people who wanted to be able to donate / support the YouTube channel. And the way I decided to do it was I did set up what's called Ko-fi, where it gives you the option to buy me a coffee or multiple coffees, and the donation comes to me and helps support the YouTube channel. That is on my website. So if you go to addmorezest.com, right at the bottom there's a button that says buy me a coffee. So if people want to do that, they are more than welcome to. It's not a requirement, but it is something that you can do if you wish. Okay, we've got it finished. Well, that section finished. So if I show you on the tablet, if I go to move and zoom out, it's still of course selected that whole colour. There we go, take off the selection. So that is the part of the chart that's been done. We've got a few more sections until we reach the end. By the looks of it, 3. So if I do it in a block of 6, so we've got 1 week there, another week there, and then another week plus a sliver. So I'll probably do that as all one week. So we've got 3 weeks with a little bit extra, and then at least I'll know how much I can cut down this. Because if that's 3, this is 3 and a bit. So if I'm just going on rough, it means that that's actually probably where this canvas can finish, but I actually have all this extra. So once I do get to the end of there, I think I may then cut the canvas down. I know it's longer than what I need as well, because this is actually a 70 by 100 and I only need 46 by 82. Yeah. So yeah, so it's a 70 by 100 centimetres and I only need 46 by 82. So I think once it gets to the point where I know where the end is, I will trim all the way down, but then I'll leave the extra at the bottom because it just rolls onto this pipe stuff anyway, so what does it matter? And that will make it a little bit easier for me to shuffle across as well from page to page. But it's quite nice that the tablet sort of shows me the picture as I've got the picture. So we're just on the top part. We'll get somewhere interesting soon. I am now 3% done. Okay, 3.03% done. So we've got a little while to get this finished, but that was quite a nice little one to do. There were some blocks as well as some colour. So as always, I thank you all so much for joining me, and I will speak to you all again soon.